Good evening, I'm Praram Vadahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Even Nepal police grants immunity to Home Minister Ravi Lamechhane in relation to fraud of cooperatives. Fair investigation in doubt. Congress demands him out of government until probe continues. Political parties prepared to field separate candidates in Ilam and Bazang by-elections. Crisis of trust rises in the ruling coalition. Parties grow concerned towards deceit in alliances. Foreign investment fails to increase in absence of improvement in policies. Only 5 billion enters in 7 months of ongoing fiscal year. Unnecessary hassles, the major obstacles for investors. And Delhi High Court gives time to Enforcement Directorate to file a reply on Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal's interim plea. India summons US diplomat over comment on his arrest. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Ravi Lamechhane, who has been granted immunity by Prime Minister and major party of the ruling coalition CPN-UML in relation to fraud of cooperatives, has also been cleared by Inspector General of Police Basanta Bahadur Kunwar. Main opposition Nepali Congress has demanded relieving Minister Lamechhane from his position until the conclusion of investigation into the fraud related to the cooperatives. Because of this, there is no certainty about obstructions at the House of Representatives. While Home Minister Lamechhane has been denying his involvement in the fraud, the Inspector General of Police defending the minister has raised doubts regarding fair investigations. At today's meeting of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee, Nepali Congress parliamentarian Dilendra Prasad Badu suggested Ravi Lamechhane to remain outside of the government until conclusion of investigations into the fraud related to cooperatives. Congress has said that Lamechhane should not remain the Home Minister to ensure fair investigation into the matter. In response, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Lamechhane said that he was not involved in the fraud. Saying the investigation entity performed its duty with its own methods, Lamechhane added that him leading the Ministry of Home Affairs did not influence the probe. While the Home Minister was furnishing his clarification, Home Secretary and the Inspector General of Police were alongside him. Responding to questions raised by the parliamentarians on Lamechhane in relation to the fraud of cooperatives, Inspector General of Police IGP Basanta Bahadur Kunwar claimed that Home Minister Lamechhane's involvement was not found in the fraud. While Home Minister Lamechhane was claiming the probing authority was an independent entity, the police chief himself, speaking of no involvement, has clarified that Lamechhane is to be granted immunity. The committee had summoned Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Lamechhane to take stock of the recent performance of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Meanwhile, Home Minister Lamechhane said that Thamel and Doramarga areas would be opened for 24 hours only after ensuring efficient security mechanisms. He went on to add that the government was serious towards the security sensitivity of the borders. Home Secretary Eknaran Arel claimed involvement of politicians in human trafficking through visit visas and said that private areas were found necessary to maintain peace and security, and also added that discussions were underway regarding the alternatives. Political parties appeared to have grown alert regarding the electoral alliances, instability of coalition, and following deceits and public warnings as they have geared up to field their own candidates for the by-elections slated for 27th April. They have begun efforts to field their own candidates for the by-election of the House of Representatives in Ilam Electoral Constituency 2 and Provincial Assembly election in Bazang Electoral Constituency 1A. With the parties of the ruling coalition themselves fielding their separate candidates, it has hinted towards a full stop for electoral alliances. Ruling coalition partners CPN-UML and CPN Unified Socialist have announced their own candidates for the by-election of the House of Representatives in Ilam 2 and Province Assembly in Bazang 1A. UML has fielded Suhang Nembang in Ilam and Daman Bahadur Bhandari in Bazang, while Unified Socialist has put forward Jeet Bahadur Rai and Dil Bahadur Singh. Another NAT of the coalition, Rashtriya Swatantra Party, is to select its candidate for Ilam on Saturday. This has come as a clear hint that the ruling coalition parties will no longer form electoral alliances. The parties have decided to register their separate candidacies because of lack of full faith on the alliance. The political entities have also grown concerned about electoral alliances because of the disappointment in the public and their cadres. With the parties of the ruling alliances announcing their candidates, CPN Maoist Center led by Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has come under pressure. Considering the current scenario and declining public trust, despite the aspiration of CPN Center to form electoral alliances to avoid defeats, it has been compelled to field its own candidates. Meanwhile, the announcements of separate candidates by the parties of the ruling coalition has come as a positive note for main opposition Nepali Congress, which had decided not to form alliances during elections in its Mahasamiti meeting. Having made the decision, Nepali Congress is also under pressure to win the elections on its own capabilities. With separate candidacies of the parties for the upcoming by-elections, analysts have said that the trend of forming electoral alliances has come to an end. Fire engines are the most important equipment to extinguish fire. However, 621 local levels of the country do not have fire engines. Even the 132 local levels with fire engines do not have required human resources to operate them. Of the 7 local levels in Dhankuta, except for Dhankuta municipality, 6 other local levels do not have any fire engine. Dhankuta municipality does not have dedicated human resource to operate its 2 fire engines as they are operated by municipal police. Of the 9 local levels in Taplejung, only Phungling municipality has 1 fire engine with just a single driver as the human resource for its operation. Officials of the administration and planning department help in extinguishing fire. In the 13 local levels of Dhading, only Nilkantha and Dhunibesi municipalities have fire engines but are without trained human resource to extinguish fire. Of the 753 local levels of the country, only 132 local levels have 163 fire engines. The remaining 621 local levels do not have fire engines to extinguish fire during emergencies. Fire engines are the only modern equipment to extinguish fire in use in Nepal. There is no proper management of water for such fire engines in many places. With narrow roads, such fire engines cannot reach many old settlements as well. Because of these factors, extinguishing fire has yet to become efficient in Nepal. Secondary Education Examination or the SCE is slated to begin tomorrow. The SCE begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning with the examination of compulsory English. It has been learned that a total of 504,414 students of 10,806 schools are to appear at the SCE examination, which is to be held under a new curriculum this year. Meanwhile, 23 Nepali students from a school of Japan are also to appear in the examination this time. The SCE examination will be held at 2,064 centers across the country with 77,000 human resources deployed. Students are appearing for the examinations of a total of 20 subjects. It is now time for our segment Public Polls, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Polls.
Before we ask today's question, let us take a look at the result from yesterday's poll. Yesterday we had asked, why have top brass leaders not prioritized removing obstructions at the parliament? 32% vote for A, adamant parties, 30% vote for B, focused on power sharing, and 38% vote for C, apathy towards public issues. And here is our today's question. What do you term the Ministry of Education postponing the President Educational Reform Program? Your options are A, effort to curb abuse, B, ineffective program, and C, decision without study. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. In our Public Voice segment, we have asked in several provinces what should be done to promote the culture of theatre and drama. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
रैथाने संस्कृतिमा रहेका जुन स्टोरीहरु छ नि कथाहरु त्यसलाई हामीले नाटकमा रंगमञ्चमा ल्यायौं भने
ठाउँ ठाउँमा हुनु पर्छ मान्छेहरुले यो सब एकदम आफ्नो मन लगाएर हेर्दिनु पर्छ
स्कुलहरुमा पनि हामीले चाहिँ त्यो किसिमको परिवर्तन सुरुदेखि नै चाहिँ बच्चाहरुलाई त्यो किसिमको मोटिभेसन चाहिँ गर्दै ल्याउनु पर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ कलाकारहरुले कला त छ तर पनि सरकारले विशेष ध्यान नदिएको कारणले चाहिँ विदेशी नै बाध्य भएका छन्
हाम्रो संस्कृति सँग सम्बन्धित नाट्य वा चाहिँ नाटकहरुलाई प्रवर्धन गर्ने मञ्चन गर्ने
नाटक अभिनयको अभ्यासहरु गराउने अब काठमाडौँको स्कुलहरुमा त अलिअलि म शिक्षा क्षेत्रमा अलिअलि देख्छु
स्टेजमा नाटक भन्दा बढी टेन्सन हुन्छ आफ्नो घरको त्यसकारण कम से कम उसको पारिश्रमिक पुग्नु पर्यो
हाम्रो वीरगन्जमा मात्रै सिनेमा हल छ तर नाटक हल छँदै छैन
प्लेटफर्म दिएर चाहिँ उहाँहरुको प्रचार प्रसार बढी गरेर चाहिँ उहाँहरुको मनोबल बढाउनु पर्यो हाम्रो केन्द्रमा त अलरेडी संगीत तथा नाट्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठान छँदै छ
त्यस्तै प्रदेश अनि जिल्लामा पनि गठन हुनु पर्यो।
पुराना कलाकारहरूलाई देखि लिएर नयाँ कलाकारहरूलाई पनि संरक्षण गर्नुपर्छ।
बेला बेलामा यसको चाहिँ प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रमहरू जस्ता भइदेखि
गाउँ गाउँमा रङ्गमञ्च पुर्याउनु पर्ने हुन्छ।
नाटक प्रदर्शनमा बजेटहरू छुट्याउनु पर्छ।
The government has begun legworks for the investment summit scheduled for the 28th and 29th of April, but the pace of preparations has been sluggish. Investments have also remained low this fiscal year as Nepal has received 5,190 million rupees in foreign direct investment in the 6 months of the ongoing fiscal year, which is lower than during the COVID pandemic, which saw FDI of 14 billion rupees in 7 months. Based on the data prior to the COVID pandemic, Nepal received on average 19 billion rupees in FDIs annually. In the year that the pandemic began, Nepal had received 19,470 million rupees. However, the economic slump globally affected FDI flows. Experts highlight the lack of appropriate policies back home has also affected the amount of foreign investments. During the Nepali fiscal year 2078-79, Nepal had received 16,540 million rupees by the end of the Nepali month of Magh, which is mid of February. The amount dropped down to 2,840 million rupees last year. Meanwhile, the ratio of dividend that foreign investors are repatriating to their countries has been increasing, which experts say the government has failed to promote to encourage more investments. They say investors are unwilling due to political interests, commission games, obstructions by locals, and lack of clarity on part of the government as the reasons behind the current scenario. The government has also failed at evaluating its country rating, which is what many investors base their decisions on. Furthermore, 10 laws that require amendments to encourage FDIs has also not moved forward. Now, investors have shared their grievances regarding no relief from the state despite the losses of more than 8 billion rupees at 12 hydroelectricity projects because of floods of last monsoon. At today's meeting of the Finance Committee, promoters of the hydroelectricity project said that massive losses had been suffered by 12 hydel projects and shared their grievances, saying the government provided no relief except for correspondence. The Hidden Treasure, which has been organizing Miss Nepal, has announced applications for this year's edition of the beauty pageant. Unmarried Nepali women between the ages of 18 to 27 with a minimum height of 5 feet 3 inches are eligible to apply before the 14th of May. This year's pageant will crown 3 winners: Miss Nepal World, Miss Nepal Earth and Miss Nepal International. The search for the next Miss Nepal will span across several cities including Birtamod, Itahari, Birganj, Chitwan, Bhairawa, Nepalganj, Pokhara, Surkhet and Kathmandu. The grand finale of Miss Nepal 2024 is slated to take place at the Sunrise Convention Center in Godavari on 3rd of August. The finale will be telecast live on Kantipur Television and Kantipur Max simultaneously. Time now for the international news. The Delhi High Court gave time to the Enforcement Directorate to file a reply on Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's interim plea seeking release from the custody of the federal agency. Prior to this, India summoned a senior US diplomat and lodged a strong protest against Washington's remarks on the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Indian Ministry of External Affairs officials summoned the acting Deputy Chief of Mission of United States to India, Gloria Barbena, at its office in South Block. The meeting lasted for more than 30 minutes. We have more news coming up, but right now it is time for yet another short break. Time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal A are to play 3-match 2020 series against Island Wolves beginning tomorrow. Nepal A team are to play their second series after their first against Canada, which they had lost 2-1. Led by skipper Binod Bhandari, the Nepal A squad includes players excluded from the senior men's national team. The squad actually includes 11 players who have previously played for the national team. .277. It is not 50-over cricket. It is a score notched up in 120 legal balls. The Sunrisers Hyderabad have posted the third highest total in all of men's T20 cricket. The highest total also in the IPL. What Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma started Markram and Klasin finished with an unbroken 116-run partnership, and Klasin's year only gets better. He has hit 53 sixes already in 2024 and has a strike rate of 210.17. Since March 2023, Klasin has hit 5 or more sixes in 10 T20 innings out of the 48 he has played. No other batter has more than 6 such innings. Klasin, meanwhile, completed a 23-ball 50. Seems mellow as compared to the ones hit by Head and Abhishek, but his hits have been more powerful than theirs. And by the way, he now has opened his count of 4s in IPL 2024 after smashing 11 sixes. That is all for the moment. Up next is the news in Nepali. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye for now.